Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So today I wanted us to talk about the RWBY Volume 5 soundtrack. I'm going to give my opinions on it and just an overall review. So I thought you all may want to hear this since it just came out, and so I just want to talk about this myself. So sit back, relax, I hope you all enjoy, and let's just jump right into this review of the RWBY Volume 5 soundtrack. Now, the first song on the list is The Triumph. Now, of course, everybody I'm sure knows this song because the fact is this is the opening theme to Volume 5. And if I had to say anything about The Triumph, it certainly isn't a bad song. I actually do like The Triumph. I think it was actually a very good opening theme. Of course, the song definitely foreshadows what's going to happen for the protagonist. Obviously, Team RWBY and the rest of Juniper and obviously Osmond's side. They all obviously came together to win in the end, which of course that is what the Triumph is about. It is about overcoming the odds that's been put against them, overcoming the loss of what happened within the past, how everybody's gone through these tragic events. It's obviously to the point now that they're going to overcome even fate itself by saying that it's not fate, that it is our decision that we are going to win. Obviously, it shows that these characters went through the ringer, of course, in the past, which Volume 3 being that example, and of course that they are about to change fate itself and create their own destiny through their own choices. And, of course, the song I think is a very good one. I think it's good to show the positivity that things had definitely changed and that they were going to make the change even if friends around them they cared about may possibly die, as it even states in the song. Strike down my friends, I'll never bend, right to the end, I'm fighting glorified. Obviously, it shows you that at this point, it's where the characters themselves have come to the realization that no matter what happens, no matter what bad events may befall them, trying to fight to save everyone, obviously they are going to keep pushing on no matter what happens. And that is the point of the song. And of course, they had conflicts that arose. Obviously, Raven came into the fray. Obviously, the whole thing with Haven became a bit of a problem. But if we're not looking at it from the animation perspective, obviously they went through hardships within this fight to try to win. Or at least it seemed like that's what they're trying to imply here, is that they went through these hardships to try to actually make the outcome in their favor rather than the enemy's. And of course, with this theme itself, it is basically in contrast to the Volume 3 theme. Of course, When It Falls was about the enemy's victory. It was about Cinder and her victory. And that's what that implied, and it really told us what happened. It really told us that, obviously, they were going to win. Now here we are with the Triumph, which is the complete opposite this time. The Triumph, obviously, is telling us about no matter what hardships may come, of course, the protagonist, which in this case Team RWBY this time and their allies, obviously they were going to make the outcome different this time. They were not going to let the same events that befall Volume 3 occur twice. So, with even the loss of certain friends and even the hardships they've gone through to get where they are now, of course, they were actually able to overcome the problem and they were actually able to win in the end of the day. And as opposed to the enemy this time, they actually were successful. And of course, you could tell that they achieved their goal because they got the relic in the end. But my overall thoughts on the song, it's not bad. I actually like the Triumph. I think it is actually a pretty good theme, really. I have to say, I think that Jeff did an excellent job on the song. I think Casey singing as well did a good song. I think just everybody did a very good job on the song. I think the Triumph is actually a good song. Now, the next song I want to cover on the list is Smile. Now, of course, Smile is Elia's song. So this song is Elia's theme. Now, what I want to let you all know, if there may be any confusion, this song is actually sung from the perspective of her parents. So when you look at this theme, when you're actually listening to it, it is actually her parents talking to her. They are teaching her basically what she should do and how she should act. And this is obviously in regards of the differences between the humans and the faunus. So it's basically looking at it from the perspective of, even though these are humans, this is how you should act in front of them, is put on a face, like a mask, and just smile no matter what happens, no matter what outcomes may happen, because obviously the faunus have been treated awful, and Ilia herself is a faunus, so she knows that this is actually a big problem, that there has been a big prejudice between humans and faunus. The one lyric that definitely stands out to me when it teaches the difference between the humans and the faunus would definitely be the lyrics where it states, "Born like your family, far from any state of grace, you're as perfect as the wind and sky, but they'll treat you like you're out of place. Now, of course, that's basically stating that if they were to find out that you are a faunus, then yes, they're going to treat you differently than they would if you were human. So it obviously shows the difference between human and faunus and what's important even within the eyes of the faunus and what's important within the eyes of the humans with this song. And it shows that Ilia's parents were trying to teach her how to actually live, to try to survive as a faunus within a world with the prejudice that humans have towards the faunus. And the lyrics really stated here with this one. This world is cold, the power is with those who judge and control, but we have a chance to make it right for you. This is what you'll do. Show them how you smile. It's only for a while. Take what you need. Leave them to bleed. Let them know bitter while your revenge is sweet. Now, when you look at these lines, it obviously shows that these individuals, the faunus, they obviously get judged by their appearance, and that those who have power are going to judge those by their appearance. It's actually a very sad thing, and it's kind of in a way of how the world is, about how people in power will judge people that are lower than them. And that to survive, you have to really kind of be more sneaky, and you have to try to go against the lines of regular rules to actually make it in the world. It's actually very sad for Ilia's life, really, as well as any other faunus out there, because they were always treated terribly. My overall opinions on this theme is it makes a lot of sense. It actually tells you about the world point of view of how the humans see the faunus, and it kind of relates to the real world and how racism can be, as well as not even just racism, but other people just judging people upon their own social status even. It can actually be something that a lot of people in real life can actually just relate to in general. And not only does that show the hardship of life, but another song that actually tries to show trying to push away from that hardship, trying to become more than it, trying to surpass that hardship of the past, would certainly be This Time. And This Time is really about the faunus overcoming the confines of the past, and obviously working together along with Blake and Sun. Obviously, they're the ones who are having a plea to have the faunus help them actually overcome this war that is going on right now, to help them fight and to help them create a new future rather than having to be stuck in the past where the problems between humanity as well as the faunus continues. They want to obviously get past all of that, and they're trying to encourage the faunus to actually fight, to take up and show that even though there is a hardship between humans and the faunus, that they can actually overcome that. And Blake herself, as she stated within Volume 5, she didn't know how to stop hatred. She obviously didn't know how to do that. But of course, through trying to do this would obviously show that they can still become better than what they're labeled as, because the humans, a lot of them see the faunus as terrible beings, and of course they want to break that. They want to break that stereotype. And the one thing that really stands out to me within this theme is, this time the ways of the past will get over, will climb, enlighten a new state of mind. And now I'll stand with you shoulder to shoulder. Out of the ashes a new flame ignite, rise up from the shadows and into the light. We'll stand undivided, our futures aligned, a new brotherhood this time. Now obviously this song is a very powerful one, because it's obviously trying to overcome these issues, as I said before, and I think that this is actually a very good thing for the faunus, because it tries to show that, of course, Blake and Sun tried to help the faunus rebuild a new future for themselves, a new reputation, a better reputation. And of course, even though, as Blake stated, she can't stop hatred, of course, they will still have to go through this issue, but by trying to fight this war to actually help save humanity, it obviously shows that to the humans, that maybe, and just maybe, this could actually make a better bridge to actually forming a better bond, or at least more trust between the two different species. And this would actually be a very good thing for them, and maybe to actually see after the events of Volume 5, once we go through Volume 6 and onward, I would actually like to see myself if this actually changes. And I'm sure that for some people in the series, some humans will actually think differently of faunus, and maybe even some faunus will actually think differently of humans. I would actually like to see this personally, and I think that this song actually does a very good job of actually trying to show this as the example. I really enjoyed the song. I think it was very good, and this was actually the ending theme to Volume 5 at the very end. So I think this was actually very good, and I really enjoyed this personally, and I think this was a good song for Blake as well as Sun and the faunus. Now, the next song to actually look at on the list here is Ignite. Now, this is obviously a theme dedicated to Yang. This was in her trailer. And, of course, this theme is really about, well, the one thing about Yang, the brawling and the beating that she gives to people. Now, of course, there's a lot more to this song than just that, but that's a little bit of a premise to it, because it's basically a song stating that Yang is back, kind of in a sense like she was a little bit of who she was before, but at the same time she's learned more, like she's gone through a bit of a rugged change. And of course, when it comes to her talking about having a punching spree and obviously beating her enemy, it really shows that there's that old Yang part of her that's still there when it comes to her fighting. Obviously, that she is going to obviously beat people like she has before, and she obviously has confidence in herself like she has previously within her fighting style. That she obviously is going to beat people to a pulp, because that is really the way that she has always been. She always saw herself as that kind of person, and was always very confident within herself when it came to fighting. And of course, Ignite really teaches us that she has got that confidence again, that she's brought it all back after the conflict she went through in Volume 3, and obviously the issues she had continuing on after Volume 3 into Volume 4. Now, one big part of the lyrics that stands out to me here for the song to show that she has a lot of confidence in herself again is this part here. Fool, you shouldn't stare into these eyes of fire. You're going to regret this little fight. You don't want to mess with me. I'm something higher. Anguish you'll know from this miserable plight. Soon you'll bemoan your mistake of a life. You'll watch yourself suffer. You'll watch me ignite. Now, obviously, this shows Yang's confidence, and I have to say, I really do enjoy that this shows us a little more into Yang's character. It really goes more into her again and what she currently thinks. I have to say that that's a very good thing. Now, of course, when you actually look at this too, is that obviously she has started to overcome the issues that she went through in Volume 3, and this is a good thing. I think that it's good to see Yang and her perspective right now currently and what she actually thinks, and that she's starting to get out of her depression. She's starting to actually break out of that, and she's starting to feel better again. And of course, I would like to see more of this in Volume 6, but at least we have a little more insight to what she's thinking, and I actually think that's a good thing to actually be able to see. There's a little bit of positivity there. But now for the songs that really stuck out to me, the ones that hit me probably the hardest, which we're going to start off with this one, was All That Matters. This is a Bumblebee song, and I have to say I really thought this was very sad. I thought it was very emotional, and to me, this is something I could relate to because I have gone through something very similar to this. All That Matters is obviously the opinions of Yang and the problems that she has of Blake leaving, and how she thought that obviously she wouldn't return, and she didn't expect that, and now that she's here, that's really all that matters to her. But she feels that she cannot trust Blake right now, that Blake is going to have to really prove herself to Yang for her to trust her. And it's a very sad perspective, but it's very understandable considering that the hardship that Yang went through and how she had hoped that Blake would stay there for her and be there to help her through the trying times that she went through after the events of Volume 3, and she ran away. And that's such a hard thing for anybody, because if you trusted anyone, that would be hard on you if you really cared about them very affectionately, and then they just often leave you because of, you may not even know, just because you think that they ran away. And of course, that's very hard. And for Yang right here especially, you could tell it was hard. Volume 5 really told us how Yang felt about Blake in a lot of ways, and that she had hoped that Blake would stay there for her. And this song really got to me because if you really did trust someone like that, you would hope that they would be there for you. You would think that, no matter what, that the relationship you had with that person would matter enough to them that they would stay there and be there for you. And then once you have built up this bond with that person, they just betray you. It's hurtful. It's just very painful. And of course, when it comes to this whole thing with Yang, of course, Blake leaving her like that, this made her feel like she was entirely betrayed by someone that she really trusted and really cared about. And it proves that now Blake is really going to have to prove herself to Yang. And I have to say, I really like this take on everything. And the lyrics are powerful. They're very strong and emotionally engraving here. And I have to say, the lyrics are very powerful. They're very strong. They hit me pretty hard. I mean, the starting lyrics here are pretty strong just from the beginning, stating, "Never thought that you would stay forever, never asked you to commit your life, but I can tell you in my heart I never thought you'd up and leave me, without a trace to lead me, and now you're standing here with that look in your eyes, the look that makes me hope I'll just believe your lies." that is a strong start to a song. That is a very strong emotional hit, I think. And considering that it shows that Yang has such trust issues now with Blake, and the way that they're going to go about this, it really proves that Blake does have to prove herself to Yang. And I really hope that they tackle more of this in Volume 6, because seeing where this went and seeing this strong song, I mean, very strong emotionally, song, it just hits you pretty hard. But another bit of the lyrics here that really stand out to me yet again is, thought that I could pull you from the shadows. Maybe you find your wings and fly, but you're a path. The longer that I travel, the more I'm just defeated. My past mistakes repeated. I'll risk it once again to have you near my side. Another chance to let you destroy my pride. That is such a strong statement there as well within these lyrics. These are strong lyrics indeed, and it really shows you that Yang was very destroyed after what happened. That she was very hurt, that she was very damaged by what Blake did when she ran away. And Yang is going to have time to repair, but at the same time, she's still going to jump in and try to hope that she can maybe have this relationship again, that maybe that this bond can become stronger, and she's going to put herself out on the line again, as we all do with relationships when you think about it. The next song to me that was a heavy hitter was Path to Isolation. I found the song to be a very powerful one, a very strong one, and I have to say that I really feel I could relate to this song a lot, because the song, it really proves that sometimes terrible things can befall you, and that sometimes depression of life, it can be so hard that you will lose who you thought you once were, because it just brings you down. The negativity, you sink into it, and that you fall into this pain, that you feel that you knew you had something and then it's gone. The loss of the light that guides you. You feel like it was there, and then throughout one terrible thing that may have happened or another, it just goes away, and you feel like you're drowning in sorrow, you're drowning in misery, and you push everyone away, and it becomes very painful, because at that point sometimes you feel you have no one. Sometimes you feel that you are the only safe haven, and yet even then you start to recognize that you're not who you once were. The pains and misery of life can also change you. You could be a happy person one moment, and then you could be just a sorrow-filled person. You could be completely lost, even though you felt like there were things that could make you happy. They can even sit there and you won't feel happiness from it because you're so upset with life. And Weiss herself, growing up, she had a hard time from what we've learned, and obviously this happened to her. She isolated herself because of these terrible tragedies she had to go through. The beginning of this song actually starts off pretty sad, really. Here's how it starts. It starts with the unexpected loss of something dear, the warmth, that comfort and cradle just disappears, and in its place there's nothing, just an endless empty hole. The light that showed the way is gone, and darkness takes control. Bitterness and anger are quick to fill the void. The path to isolation is littered with the dreams that lay destroyed. This is a very strong thing, because in truth, sometimes you feel that way. You really will feel that way sometimes, especially when you are isolated and you push everyone else away, because you feel like sometimes you have to. Sometimes you feel like you're the only thing that's safe, and sometimes even then you don't even trust yourself. And it becomes very hard, because when it comes down to this, when you feel this way, it's a very powerful thing. And I even understand this. I can relate to how this actually feels and how Weiss felt during these times. It's a very powerful song. It's a very emotional song, and I do have to say that I really enjoyed this song. This is actually one of my all-time favorite songs on this soundtrack, because Volume 5 did a very well and very good job with the song when it came to Weiss. So I think that this is one of my favorites, along with All That Matters. Now, to top things off, we're going to go ahead and finish off the last song here. All Things Must Die. Now, All Things Must Die is a very good song, I think. I really enjoyed this one, because All Things Must Die is Cinder's third theme, so now she has another one to add. And I know what you all are thinking, because there are some of you that are going to disagree with this, but All Things Must Die is actually Cinder's theme. It is actually not Raven's theme, like a lot of people are already labeling it as. And this goes the same for Sacrifice. This is yet again another theme of cinders. So a lot of people may find some confusion with this. I won't be shocked if they do. But the thing is, this song is actually about Cinder, and this is a message from Cinder to Raven. So this is Cinder speaking to Raven. So just want to get that out there right now. This is her message to Raven. So keep that in mind. So what this song actually is stating is that Cinder does believe that Raven should be like old myths and legends and die off. That she herself should just go ahead, become one with the sky, and black out the sky, meaning that she should die and that she should be no more. And Cinder talks about several things concerning Raven, and it has to do with Raven's choices. So the lyrics in this song that really point out some of the things that Cinder tries to prove when it comes to Raven is in the song from Cinder's message. In other words, what she's saying to Raven. The lyrics state this: murder, unkindness, conspiracy. Now, when you think about this, this goes upon Raven. Because if you think about Raven, she did have a conspiracy to actually betray Cinder from the beginning. That was already the start. Unkindness also alludes to this because she was not very kind to anybody, including her own daughter. Therefore, Raven already planned on betraying who she formed an allegiance with, which was Cinder, and then obviously the unkindness goes upon her towards her daughter. Even her daughter states that you weren't very nice now in Volume 5, and then of course Raven says, I know. Therefore, there is the unkindness part. And if you think about Cinder, everybody she tries to work with, she actually does treat them nicely. So, of course, this falls in line with the whole thing of unkindness, conspiracy. And murder would obviously lead to what Raven has been known for. She's been known to be a dangerous individual, and murder can be a part of danger. And now when we look at this, Raven herself, if she had taken the relic like she originally planned to, she would have been doing nothing but endangering the Bronwyn tribe. And why is this? Because Ozpin's people, as well as Salem's, would have targeted Raven. But yes, you get what I mean. But the point here is that the song is not Raven's theme, it is actually Cinder's. And obviously the lyrics tell us several things as to why this is a message from Cinder to Raven. And obviously another one of the lyrics that really stands out here is, just close your eyes, don't fear demise, black out the sky, all things must die. Now, of course, when it comes to these lyrics, it obviously is telling you that Raven, she can become a bird, which is a raven. And when it means go black out the sky, that means that she should make like the birds, fly into the sky. And obviously within reference, this is also kind of like a spiritual aspect, because within a lot of religious reasoning, they believe that when you die, you obviously go to the sky. Well, of course, that's what it means, all things must die, when it says black out the sky. So obviously stating that Raven should just die and black out the sky. And that's the whole point of what that part of the lyrics is trying to actually make out. So this is actually Cinder's theme. This is her third theme, and I think it's a very good one because, similar to Sacrifice, this is another message to another character. Because Sacrifice itself was not only Cinder's motives, but at the same time, it was also Cinder having a message to Ozpin stating that she disagreed with him, just as to where this is Cinder yet again stating that Raven has done some very terrible things and that she should die. And I have to say, I think that this was a very good song. I really enjoyed All Things Must Die. I think this is a very good theme for Cinder. And overall, I think this was actually a very good soundtrack. I think that this is one of the better soundtracks for certain. Obviously, and I have to really think about all the soundtracks, but overall, this was definitely a very solid and a very good soundtrack. If you haven't listened to it already, I do recommend you should. I think it's a very good one, and I have to say, I applaud everyone who worked on it. But anyways, I'll be back again on Tuesday. Let me know what your favorite song of Volume 5 soundtrack was. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, hit the video with a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and share this with your friends if you found this informative or useful. Well, anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today, and remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day, everyone.